My gosh. Oh, look at me, dude. I'm so cool. Got my new Chevy.
My addicted jersey.
What's up, guys? We're doing it freaking we're doing this new style here. We thought about trying it just with walking around with the phone.
Non-Clint.
Non-Clint.
Yeah.
That's the real truth about this is that we don't have Clint, so we're
Producer's out of town. He's down in Texas two-stepping.
we got this tasty little guy right here that Jordan's gonna freaking show us how to fillet these things. What do you think, dude?
I think this knife's gonna cut right through it.
Slice. All right, Charles, take over here. What is up, addicts? Welcome to an Addicted Fishing Live. We haven't been in the studio for a long time, dude.
No, it's been too nice outside.
We've been out trying to catch fish.
That doesn't really work that good.
And then we were in Florida last week.
Ooh, did we go live though? We were live the whole time. Did we fish on? We fished on a Wednesday. No, Wednesday was the show. You guys were there. You probably remember more.
We did some Instagram story, and I know that much. But so tonight, what we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna just give you some little updates on how the season's been, how fishing's kind of been in our areas, and hopefully you guys will comment and let us know how it's been in your areas. How's it been for you?
It's been all right. I mean, I'm catching fish, but today I got my butt kicked, so but we won't talk about today.
Yeah, we won't talk about today.
Yeah, but there's definitely some summer steelhead. I think that's
Some fish are out.
that's obviously all we've really been able to fish for, other than if you're in the ocean. But the summer steelhead has been pretty fair to Midland, I'd say. A lot of people around Southwest Washington and Northwest Oregon are catching summers. A lot better than I'd say in the early season. You know, May, June was a lot tougher, but as a lot of those summer fish from the lower Columbia started coming in, guys in the big boats in the big river have been getting them pretty regular, and guys in the small tributaries have been catching them. So there's still a good amount. And honestly, what it comes down to is the weather's been great for it.
Yeah.
It hasn't been 90 every day. The water's not super warm, so it's the fish that are coming in are getting caught.
They're bitey.
Yeah, that's the beauty of summers is when they're in there, you usually catch them.
So let's get a giveaway kicked off here tonight. We actually have one of the guys from Filletaway Fish Mats in here tonight. We're going to introduce you to them. They're one of our new partners. We're super excited to be working with them because honestly, we've been using these mats since they came out. Pretty much since I got the first one in my hands, I've been using it ever since. And I know you've loved it. And
I use them every day.
Yeah. They're amazing, amazing mats. So we're going to talk to him and just talk about his venture and starting his business and why he created these mats. So he'll be in here in a little bit. And then we're also going to just fillet this fish here up. Give you some little tips on little tricks that Jordan might have that you might have already.
A headless salmon.
Yeah, how to fillet a headless sockeye.
You know, I see a ton of people do this at the river though. Honestly, I see a lot of people, like they'll gut them and then they'll cut the heads off, throw the head in the river and pack it out. Which, you know, it's not exactly my preference. I like to have the head, but we got this sockeye from a friend that came back from Alaska. Who had a frozen hole, and it was just our option today because none of us caught any fish that we could keep today. So,
we tried. Don't think we didn't try though.
I fished
Jordan
for like
was
10 hours. Yeah, I lost all the ones that we needed. So.
Well, yeah. So let's get it kicked off. We'll give you guys an opportunity to win. We're gonna give away a couple of these Filletaway fish mats, probably one on YouTube and one on Facebook a little bit later. So check them out, Filletaway fish mats. Opportunity to win this. Just share this live feed out there. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and then comment. Just keep commenting below. Charles or Josh, someone in the background, will be randomly selecting a winner at some point here tonight before.
God, look how shiny that is.
I don't know, it's brand new. It hasn't
Man, it doesn't even smell funny.
no fish scales on it yet.
Well, that is kind of another, I mean, since we're talking about these things, that's probably my favorite part about these, because for years, all we ever used was like the floor mats or like the welcome mats that you could buy at the Dollar Tree or at the, you know, Home Depot or whatever. And the thing about it, especially in the summer when you have them in your boat or in the back of the truck, after a week or so, it just got rank. It didn't ever matter how much you cleaned it, but these things, half the time there's still blood on mine, and for some reason they really repelled the smell really well, which is probably, other than the grippiness, is probably the best part.
Yeah, I think that's
easily they clean.
And that's what you'll hear Cam talk about a lot when he's using them, is like just the cleaning, and that's for you. I mean, you just literally hold them over the side of your boat.
I did, like you saw, like Nick was talking about in that last walleye video. I just smacked them on the water.
Yeah.
And smack them 3 or 4 times, shake it off, and throw it back to the truck.
Well, cool. Yeah, guys. So we really freaking love these things. We actually have a discount code going. Colin, you want to come in and kind of talk about these? Why you started this venture with Fillet Man? And like we said, guys, this is a little bit more of a ghetto live feed tonight because we don't have our humble servant Clint, who's so awesome for us every single week, making these things professional. So we're just freaking shooting from the hip tonight.
Winging it.
This is Colin.
Hey everybody.
From Filletaway Fish Mats. Talk about it, dude. What was your kind of your inspiration of like starting this business? Why did you and Pete? You have one business partner, right?
Yeah, Pete. Yeah, Pete and I. So actually, the idea was Pete's. We were on a fishing trip together in Tri-Cities, trying to catch some of those Columbia River gold, you know, all those walleye. So, and we caught a bunch of them. We were with the guide, and he was filleting our fish at the end of the day, and he was just complaining about how he's using that outdoor carpet stuff that a lot of guys use. You talk about the welcome mats, and he was just complaining about how nasty it was. It was like 105 degrees that day, and he's like, "Yeah, I probably gotta throw this away at the end of the day. It's so nasty." And so Pete was asking, "Well, why don't you get some kind of a fillet mat or something?" And he's like, "Well, nobody makes anything that doesn't stink, that doesn't slip around on any surface you put it on, and actually holds your fish in place." And Pete's a mold maker, and so he was like, "Well, we'll see about that."
Ding.
So yeah, it looks like there's an opportunity anytime you solve a problem like this. So originally we were just going to use them for ourselves, but we got some material for free. He's a mold maker, so he's got access to all the tools, and started putting it together. And it was like, wow, I think this could really do well. We started using it, giving it to guys and giving some of our prototypes to them. And after about 5 different prototypes that had varying degrees of success, too soft or still didn't work because the material wasn't right.
Right.
The biggest thing is getting the material right that doesn't, like you guys were talking about, it doesn't absorb any smells. It's actually impossible for this material to absorb any smells because of the type of material it is. It's a mix between vulcanized rubber and plastic. In 2017, we started taking them to shows, and it was later in 2017 that we hooked up with you guys and started sending them to you. So that's been over 2 years now.
Wow.
Over 2 years.
I was gonna say, I bet I've had them for 2 years.
Yeah.
About a few winners for sure. Which is when we would have gotten them in sportsmanship
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah, I mean, and we just been using them. We weren't like a partner of yours or a sponsorship or nothing. We just been using them because we've loved them and liked them. So
yeah. Well, it's really neat too. You see, like on Cam and like Nick's and everybody's boat, they have the big fillet stand that they set up too. I always thought it was really neat how they both, 2 of them sit side by side perfectly in those trays. Was there something behind that?
Well,
Or
actually,
did it just come out that way?
kind of. But I think so. One of our partners, and I don't know if you guys work with them, but their Fish Fighter products came up with a stand that fits 2 mats perfectly.
Right.
So that I know they designed it to fit that, but
Nice.
the size of the mat really came down to what your average fish in America. Not, we weren't targeting just fish in the Northwest.
Right.
But and then putting 2 together for a bigger fish like this works really well too. So
yeah, that's what I've always found is I just always have had 2. I actually have 4.
Well, it's just the ease of the mess, man. Because especially like, a lot of times when I'm guiding certain times of the year and like tributary stuff, when I get to the end of the day, either if you're filleting these fish on the bow of your boat or your tailgate, or a lot of times I'll use like a public picnic table. And before I was just throwing them on the picnic table and filleting them out, and I'd have to carry a bucket and I'd have to clean it all off. And there's blood everywhere. But now, I mean, it is just the ease of the mess and the cleanup.
Yeah.
It really takes all the pain in the butt work out of filleting fish, whether it's trout, walleye, anything.
yeah. And you hit it on the head when you said, I put them on my tailgate, I put them up on the boat. You can put them on a picnic table. You can put them. We fillet them intentionally on some really gnarly stuff, like in the winter. Roosevelt gets drained down. That's over that big lake over in eastern Washington, and these big, huge buoys that are metal are just sitting up exposed on the beach, and we've put that on that big, slippery metal surface and filleted fish on there. We filleted on frozen logs, put them on the sand, filleted on there, just to show how, on any surface you put these, they don't just grip the fish, they're gripping whatever you put them on as well.
Well, that's a good point too. It's keeping your meat a lot cleaner too. Because a lot of times, especially as we all know, at the end of the day, your least favorite part of the day is filleting your fish. And especially if it's any kind of salmonoid species, a lot of times there's sand and gravel and dirt involved, and a lot of times the fish itself is dirty. So as soon as you cut that fillet and flip it over, you got more crap laying on top of this, and it falls right through these little pegs, and it's just perfect storm.
It is. So guys, we are actually working with Filletaway now. We're super excited about it. So they're offering a discount code to all you addicts to get a discount on these mats. If you want to head over to their website, it's Filletaway Fish Mats. The code is ADX, right?
ADX.
ADX. Filletaway.com. Head over there. You guys can take advantage of that discount code. And yeah.
One guy asked how resistant are they to the knife?
So I think that's a great question. If you can zoom in a little bit, you can see I've been using this mat for well over a year, and you can see there are a few missing pegs. But there's almost 3,300 pegs on this one mat. And so, I mean, you know, if you really worked at it, I could probably cut this mat by really pushing down hard. But I mean, I stake up all my salmon on here. I stake up every fish that I catch when I'm cutting up fillet or walleye, and I'm gonna pan fry them. I'll fillet them and then cut them into little pieces.
Right.
And I cut them right on the mat. I don't have any issues with
Yeah,
it.
I haven't had any.
I agree.
I actually have cut one, but it was on towards the edge
Yeah.
of the mat, and I was being a little too like yeah. It was my fault.
Well, and
You can't. I've been using mine for 2 years, and you
There you
can't
go.
tell. I mean, I cut through fish every day.
yeah, and you're staking the fish up on the mat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that rubber plastic combination, it is a very durable product. Like we said, the material is strong. It's the kind of material that actually has never been used in this kind of application. It was designed for car engines because it's like used on rings and areas that you want that are subject to chemicals and high heat that you can't have expand at all. And that's what this is made out of.
That's super cool. It's crazy to know too, like just the small little things that went into making like a mat, right?
Yeah,
It's like,
right. It's like it's a fish mat, but no, it's a highly specialized material, and every aspect of it. These pegs are drafted to a certain degree, you know, to get the most grip, and bend a little bit while you're filleting to give you the extra grip. And I mean, there's a lot of little details into it that you know you don't know unless you say, oh, it looks like a floor mat. Well, it's a lot more than a floor mat.
Well, like I said, guys, we're going to be helping these guys create content and all that kind of stuff into the future. So if you guys want to take advantage of an Addicts discount code, it's ADX. Head over to filletaway.com. And yeah, thanks for coming in
Hey,
tonight, dude.
thanks guys, appreciate it.
We're going to have Jordan chop this thing up a little bit and show people some tips, and we can talk more about kind of why it freaking holds the
heat's
fish.
on.
The heat's on.
Yeah, you guys want us to cut this fish up, you better start sharing this. Get it out
Is there
there.
even anybody watching, Charles?
Oh, like 80, 90 is growing.
All right, you guys. Well,
Come in,
man,
go ahead
this
and come
thing
in.
smells great. I tell you what. So, normally, guys, you'd have the head on this fish, of course. This is the sockeye, so it's got some beautiful red meat. We're going to do our best to make sure we fillet it perfectly. But normally, of course, you'd have this fish fully with the guts and everything in it, head on it. This one's headless. But what you do first is, of course, you start at the belly, right in the anal fin, slice all the way up. I like to gut mine first. On smaller fish, I like to gut the fish straight up, leave all those fins on there. On a bigger fish, like a big salmon or a Chinook or something like that, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna slice that belly piece off, like you've seen in a few of our tutorials. But like on a fish like this, like a 5 pound or so, I would usually keep the belly on this because you're gonna want more of that meat as you cook it, or else your fillets are just gonna end up real thin. So, of course, skin it out from the middle, get those guts out of there. What I'm gonna do here, and especially because this thing's headless, is I'm gonna try to find that backbone right
Now you can
behind.
come in, Charles, and show these.
I'm gonna take this little bone out here that was normally holding its head on. All right, it's gonna help me start right here. But so you can see, normally I'd be coming down, I'd be searching for this backbone right here with that knife blade. And what I don't want to do, especially if you got a brand new Gerber knife, they come out of the package extremely sharp, which actually can kind of bite you in the butt sometimes, because that blade will drift if it's really sharp, and you won't be able to keep it right along that backbone. So find that backbone, but you want to cut down with very little pressure until you feel that knife stop on that backbone. From here, I'm going to take it, I'm going to use my finger. That's why this thing has this little slot right here. I'm going to keep my finger there, and I'm going to turn that blade to 90 degrees along the backbone, just like so. And that first initial cut is very important. That's when you're going to get it started, and that's what's going to keep you on plane as you start working through that fish. So now that I got that, I can feel I'm going right through those rib bones. I'm going to keep that right along its spine, all the way down along its dorsal fin. And this is probably the most important part. This is where a lot of people lose the most meat. It's from that dorsal. Is again, keep your hand pressing downward pressure with your thumb, keeping that index finger in the back of that knife, but also pushing this blade at a somewhat downward angle so that you're catching and going in between each of those backbones to go right along the back of that fish so you don't lose all that precious tail meat. Just like so. I'm gonna go just right here to the end, point it up. Look at that. Man, those things are good. So, that's one side. We're not going to do the other side because we're going to save that for Facebook. But you guys saw how this blade and this mat, you saw how still that thing sat the whole time. What helps a lot too is...
Dude, even on like a slimy, like wet, like fish, you just, dude, it's pretty crazy. Like,
he's
you
talking
just,
about.
the slightest little pressure on these little pins that are there, and it just grips the fish. It just really, really works well. It's honestly made me better at filleting fish because you just struggled for so many years, like having to slip around.
Then you're nervous. Then you go on, so on and so forth. Once you mess up one fish, the next one comes with a lot of anxiety.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It took me years to get good at filleting fish. You know, like anybody, it takes a little bit of time. It's a little bit of a learning curve. So now that we've got that, I'm going to turn that bad boy around.
Make sure you guys stay with us. We are going to pick a winner for that fillet away fish mat before the end of the night, before we get out of your hair. We're going to show you a couple more little tips on the filleting, and then hopefully you guys will come join us on Facebook. We'll be doing the same thing over there.
So, I'm going to use next. Do we have anything to kind of
I got the smaller.
Right. So what I like to do here, there we go, that's what I'm going to use. What I like to do here is kind of a little trick of the trade. You know, when I'm filleting a lot of clients' fish and I'm trying to be in a bit of a hurry and like rush through, what I like to use is either a fork or like another dull blade knife that's not going to really cut through the meat much. But I like to use that knife to use as that other grip, so that when I take those rib bones off, that blade doesn't tend to drift off into space like it tends to do. So I'm going to hold that thing down right there, right back in the end, right in the back of that skin here. You can, but I like to use mostly as a fork. I'll stick a fork in the end there. That holds it down, it doesn't ruin the meat. And I'm able to get under these rib bones here without it getting too crazy. So I'm going to take this here. Again, keeping that pressure pointed up. Most important part of taking these rib bones is not taking any of that belly meat with it. So as I come through here, I'm going to keep that, again, pointed right up. You should almost be able to see that blade as it's slicing through that belly. Just like so.
Yeah, you gotta open it on YouTube. Do you have the YouTube app?
Going through here. And I'm doing this nice and slow so that you guys can really get a good look on how we want this done. From there, I'm going to keep that blade pointed straight up. And there she blows. So you guys can see, even I got a little bit carried away here and got a little bit of a dig down in here because of this rudder fin here. But even then, what you really need to stress is keeping that blade flat and pointed up towards those rib bones as it come through. That way you don't have these little pieces like I took off there, which of course wasn't much. And if you needed to, you could go through and kind of scrape a little bit of this meat off of these rib bones, but that one's not too bad. We didn't mess really any up. So again, see how still that fillet stayed on that mat the whole time? That Gerber knife sliced right through it.
Mm-hmm. Show those other two little tricks that I was talking about where you fold the fish.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that now we're done at this point. What I like to do, especially on a fish this size, if I got a really big Chinook or something, a fillet that's going to be 35 inches, 30 inches, what I like to do is I'll take that collar piece off, that first few inches of that fish, I'll take and I'll slice that. But then from here, I'll go like this, and this one's small enough that I'll go right in the center of the fish, slice straight down. And what I did there is I went nice and light, and I made sure not to cut through that skin. And why that is because I'm going to be able to take my fingers now, run right under that fillet, and just like that. You don't want meat to meat touching when you go to put this stuff in a Ziploc or a freezer bag or anything like that. You want it touching skin to skin. That way, that if you do freeze it, that meat's not going to bond together and then again pull apart when it's finally defrosted. So I got it folded skin to skin there. That's what I'm going to put in my Ziploc bag, and that's it, everybody.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm going to go wash my hands.
Josh, you got that ready yet or no?
Not ready. Still down, man.
I'm going to rinse my hands off.
Yeah, rinse your hands
Throw
off. Alright guys, so yeah, there you have it. A couple little tips for you. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little thing here. Like I said, we are going to be over on the Facebook side of things. Josh is pulling up YouTube right now to try to get this winner for this fillet away fish mats. Again, do not forget, we're giving you guys an opportunity to get these things at a discounted rate, cheaper than what you're going to even be able to get them in the store. It's 20% off with our code ADX. ADX, just 3 letters on Fillet Away's website. It's not just hype. Really go check these things out and use them, because I swear we've been using them for years and we love the freaking things. So we like to push products that we really love and things that we really like to use, so hopefully it'll help you guys be better anglers and better fishermen out on the water. So yeah, Josh, where you at?
It's open, I'm gonna check it.
But one thing we still need to talk about too is if anybody feels like traveling across the country or already live there, this Friday at 6 p.m. at Sportco in Fife, Washington, we're doing the second free premiere. This one's free. The first one we did in Portland. All of our Attic fans and everybody in town was gracious enough to buy tickets, but this one is a 200-seat venue. It's a first come, first serve, and it's a free showing of our Addicted Alaska 2 movie. So
Oh, you almost forgot about
if you
that.
can make it to Fife, Washington at 6 p.m. on Friday, you're going to see one of the coolest fishing movies you've ever
that's the
made.
flyer.
That's the old one.
That's the old flyer. But regardless, come. Please come. We want to fill up their store with people. So we really hope to meet a bunch of you addicts and shake your hands. And we don't get up to that area very often, so this is an opportunity to come hang out. We'd love to come hang out with you guys.
Well, and it kills me because it's some of our, obviously we're Washington based, and some of our biggest group of followers is in the Puget Sound. So I'm excited. I know there's going to be a lot of excited people there that, again, we've been wanting and needing to meet for a long time. So it's going to be a great night. There's going to be some merchandise. We'll have a bunch of Addicted Alaska 2 stuff, which is pretty cool because a lot of the apparel and stuff that Marlon made for this Addicted Alaska movie is some different designs and stuff that aren't on anything other than that Addicted Alaska 2 gear.
Yeah, it's kind of limited edition. Once it's gone, it's gone. We won't make it again. So
yeah.
People are asking when, if they can't attend this, when is it going to be available to like just the public?
we don't know yet. We don't know. We're gonna do probably 2 more premieres in different areas. We might actually do one in Longview as well. So we're still trying to figure that out. But with it, probably before the end of the year. Sometime before the end of 2019, we'll probably release it on YouTube, I would assume. But just kind of stay tuned, and we want to kind of get it touched into cities a little bit before we put it out online. So hopefully you guys can make it to some of those areas. Josh, who do you got?
Jeffrey Hall.
Jeffrey Hall. Jeffrey Hall, if you're still with us, buddy, you want yourself a fillet fish mat.
He's
Shoot
local.
us an email to orders@addicted.fishing. Orders@addicted.fishing. And just tell us that you want a fillet fish mat, and we will get that shipped out to you. We just need your shipping address, buddy. Thanks so much to everyone that tuned in. Do not forget filletaway.com, 20% off. Use the code ADX, and we'll see you guys out on the river.
There you guys.